Regardless of whether you're one of those diehards who's first in the line at the Apple Store, it always seems to feel like no matter what kind of mobile technology that you have in your pocket, it quickly becomes yesterday's news, and that may never be more evident than right now, as telecommunication providers worldwide are working on 5G, which might just be as big of a deal as when we marveled at being able to look at full fat web pages on tiny phone screens. Oh come on, it's just another G. Just after LTE became super widespread. Well, while it's admittedly a bit tricky to keep up with all the different wireless standards and the Gs and what they all mean and all that kind of stuff, the industry is hoping that 5G will be good enough to end the constant talk of what the next G is, and will hopefully only need incremental improvement over time. Kind of how Windows 10 does this. So, what the heck is supposed to be so special about 5G anyway? Well, it's being centered around the idea that Internet of Things, that is connected devices that enable self-driving cars, automated homes and more will become very important in the near future, and mobile data networks will need to be very robust to handle it all, with wearable appliances, vehicle, mobile AR and VR devices and so on expected to push so much traffic through the mobile data networks, with some devices needing as much as multiple gigabytes per second. We will need not only faster overall speed but also lower latency. Imagine if your self-driving car took half a second too long to make a critical turn, and suddenly you've got a huge dent in your fender, or more frighteningly, in your body. 5G, however, is not only aiming to reduce latency to as low as 1 millisecond to allow real-time operation of important devices, it also boasts a theoretical maximum of 20 gigabit per second, way faster than the quickest LTE networks today, or even your fiber connections. Of course, this is only a theoretical maximum, and it looks like the bare minimum for the average user will be about 100 megabits per second. Again, this is quite a bit faster than the real-world performance of LTE deployments. Part of this awesomeness is due to 5G's usage of high-frequency waves, which also gives it a greater capacity for beamforming, meaning that signals can be focused onto areas where much more data is being consumed compared to existing cellular antennas, many of which are omnidirectional and just kind of send signals out regardless of where it's actually being concentrated, which is not good. Combine that with the massive MIMO, which will allow many users to share the same connection simultaneously with many antennas on a transmitter. Similarly, to have the newer MU-MIMO networks for home Wi-Fi connections, and you'll have a network that is not only quicker but also better throughput. So the quick growing number of things connected to mobile internet don't become bottlenecked. In fact, the industry is hoping to have 1 million devices supported per square kilometer, possibly meaning no more delays at places like concert, conventions or even sporting events. Of course, this is a very ambitious project, so it's not available quite yet. Current projections have 5G hitting the market sometime in 2020, with it becoming widespread around 2025. Since providers are not only trying to make 5G a more uniform standards than what exists today to ensure better compatibility around the world, but they also need to build more infrastructure. That infrastructure would include signal boosters, since 5G's shorter wavelength means it's more prone to signal degradation across great distances. But even though most of us will have to wait a while to experience 5G, trials are already underway in a few places in the United States. A small-scale deployment is expected at the Olympics to give attendees an early look at the tech before it reaches the mainstream. So, in summary, don't chunk on your LTE phone just yet. But don't be surprised if in a few years, whatever you are carrying in your pocket ends up putting your home internet connection to the shame tunnel. So, hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe.